end of this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up the assessments that you're going to be using in Moodle to mark with the MoodleNFC system. So firstly, we create a section called lab marking or something like that, and we need to create a new activity. And the activity is of type assignment. So we add an assignment. Now, even though this is a lab, it's called an assignment within the Moodle framework. Okay, our assignment's been created now. We need to give it a name. So in this case, we're going to do a rubric for laboratory 8. So we say lab 8. We can put a description, something like marks are assigned here. Now, we don't want students to actually submit anything to this. We just want to be able to mark them based on what we observe of their progress in the lab. So we'll disable submissions. We'll disable file submissions there. And what we need to do is look at our grade section. And rather than simple direct grading, which is what we've currently got, we'll be using a rubric. And a rubric will allow us to assign various competency levels for various areas. So it might be things that they're trying to achieve, or it might be individual tasks within the lab where they've completed that task or haven't completed that task. So once we've done that, we can click Save and Display. And what it does is it brings us this menu called Advanced Grading, and this allows us to create our rubric. So we click Define New Grading Form from scratch, and we'll give it a name, something like Lab 8 that specifies what we're doing. And we need to create some criterion or different tasks in there that we can mark within our lab system. So for our first one, I often have a very simple task for the students to do to get them up and running within MDD. So we'll give it the name warm-up. And in this case, it's something to do with switches and LED control, so we'll call it LED switch control. And then we need to give some various categories of competency or attainment. So the first one I've been putting quite often, not completed. So this is when the students haven't actually even attempted it yet. Then maybe something like significant issues, and then completed. So significant issues might mean that they needed significant help to actually get to a level of attainment in the end, or maybe their thing only half worked, or had major issues with it. Completed would be fully working, fully functional to a level of attainment. Now you can add additional levels, so you could have more than 3. 3 just fits on the screen of the tablets and smartphones really nicely. Then we could go through and add additional criterion. So our next task was setting up our ADC, so our analog to digital converter in this particular subject. So we have the similar sort of things as before. And so on and so forth for the rest of them. I'll just do one more. Now you'll note that there's a number of points assigned to each of these. So if it's not completed, the student will get 0 points for that particular item or criterion on the rubric. 1 point or half marks if there's significant issues, and the full 2 points otherwise. All of those things can be customized as well. One of the nice things is the students get to see this before they're marked, when they're marked, so they can actually see where they've lost points, if they've lost any points. For ones that involve a bit of coding or something like that, you might want to add something extra here, a category, something like comments. Has the student provide comments within their code? That could be an extra rubric item, and It's essentially yes, limited comments but not useful comments, or yes, they've commented it well. So then we say save rubric and make it ready, and that rubric is now complete, and we have a maximum number of points, maximum number of score of 6 points based on getting completed for those 3 sections. So then it goes into how do we actually mark this thing, or how do we mark students off in the labs. Now if we go, we can turn editing off now. We go to our lab marking and select lab 8. We go to view or grade all submissions. Now this is something that we'll actually be doing within the tablet or smartphone device, but if we select a particular student, or for that member, staff member, that we're wanting to mark off, and we go through and mark them by selecting the particular box that corresponds to the level of attainment. So maybe they've completed the warm-up, completed that with significant issues, and maybe they're not up to this step yet. Unfortunately, it doesn't let us finalize it without completing all the boxes. So any remaining ones, you select not complete, and you can always come back and make them complete at a later stage. So in that case, we say yes, save changes, and we can see that particular student, or in this case staff member, not that I'm taking the subject, has half of the available marks for that, which can be added in directly to the gradebook and tied in properly there. If we try and do it without leaving one of these off, we'll get an error saying that please choose something from each criterion, so we need to choose something there. And in this case, well, maybe they've gotten a bit further down the track, completed all the tasks. We say save changes, and we can see that they've got 100% for that activity now. And so this activity shows you how to set up these criterion and rubrics within the LMS gradebook system. In a later video, we'll show you how to actually enter the data on the tablet and things you need to be aware of there.